Could you tell us what you're doing here at ISTEK?
Yeah, I was looking at what I call the connected classroom, and what I mean by that is looking at how, because one of the most interesting things about technology is how you can make the language teaching outside of the lesson so much more interesting than, say, 20 years ago. Get the students to record themselves speaking or listening to content, particularly doing speaking activities, because you can get them to use audio, get them to use things like Jing. So what I was looking at was types of activities, very simple activities, where you did a lot of the preparation work in the classroom, so around the vocabulary, practicing the language, maybe doing some pair work or group work to practice the activity, then go home and actually do the recordings yourself and then send them to your teacher. So it really kind of changes what you can do outside of the class. So 20 years ago, you probably couldn't have done something like that. Now it's really, really easy to do, and you know, there's make the recordings and then send them to the teacher straight away, and the teacher can then listen to the students doing speaking practice.
Right,
so,
yeah. Yeah, it's one of your colleagues at Warwick, Emma Ushiada. She's very interested in motivation and learner autonomy.
Yeah.
And the way that you've described that, does that mean that teachers need to be more involved in getting their students to be autonomous instead of just giving them homework and telling them this is what you must do?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, I mean, there are so many opportunities, and that's very much part of what we need to do as teachers now, is just to be aware of the amazing number of sort of technologies that are around and how they can be exploited. Because I think if you give, there's a kind of a problem with the word autonomy, because you have to literally teach people to be autonomous. But yes, I think if you give them guidance and you direct them towards the right sort of content, then it's an amazing. We're in a great situation now, because people can really develop their own interests. If they like music, they can find videos online that have got the words of the songs. If they like football, there's loads of information. If they're into art, there's loads of information. So they can really kind of. So what we do as teachers is really direct them towards the type of content they might be interested in and how to exploit it as well. Right. But yeah.
And Russell, we have to congratulate you on your 2 awards.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the website and how it was that you got those awards?
The whole idea of the website really started because I write the Web Watcher articles in the English Teaching Professional, and I was writing about the use of technology in language teaching, and people were emailing me and saying, well, Russell, I like your ideas, but I don't actually know how to use the technology. So I started making the training videos to help teachers to do a blog or do a wiki, and people gave me a lot of good feedback saying, well, this is a great way because I can actually just see you doing it all and listening to you. So I decided to put them onto a website. I mean, it was really just meant to be a small hobby. I never kind of thought it would get to the size and the magnitude that it's got now. And I won the awards because of that. Because it's really what it's doing is helping particularly teachers that are a bit technophobic or don't know a lot about technology. It gives them those first steps into technology, because I kind of walk them through using the technologies right from the start, from downloading it to actually how you use it, and even talk about how you might use it in the classroom or with your students. So it's a sort of hand-holding.
You mentioned in your abstract that it was a talk for teachers and that the ideas could be applied to your teaching and learning immediately.
Yeah.
Can we ever say that? You know, like
yeah, I mean that's the
the
thing that I'm really focusing on when I'm looking at technology. I'm particularly interested in those types of technologies that you literally could learn, and you know, they're so easy that you can learn to use them and apply them almost immediately in your class. I mean, one of the tools that I presented today, you just click on the button and it starts to record your voice. And then you click on another button and and you can send that to your teacher. So you can imagine how easy those technologies are to use. So the idea is that the learning curve for those technologies, particular technologies that I was focusing on today, is really it's minimal. So you know, almost anyone could use.
And what kind of skills do you think are involved in teacher training when it comes to helping those teachers who are a little bit unsure of the new technologies? How can we make it easier for
well, I think I think that's the key thing. I mean, I think there is a bit of a problem because you often get, say, a lot of publicity around a particular tool, and say Second Life has had a lot of exposure, and that can put teachers off a lot. I mean, I like Second Life, but there are what I call barriers to entry to Second Life. So I think the key is showing teachers simple tools that they can really understand very, very quickly and feel confidence with, because I think there is always a period of time when you start using the technology that you kind of feel a little bit nervous about it. And you feel like you need to bring control back, even if you're the type of teacher that does a lot of sort of group work and pair work in your normal teaching. When it comes to technology, you feel the need to control it. So I think it's a question of confidence. I mean, I find that even myself. So I think the key thing is, you know, is to show teachers tools that they can really get to control and understand, because it's then that they'll pass them over to the students and allow the students to start to use them.
And how do you feel about ISTEK? What feeling have you got?
Fantastic. I mean, it's lovely. First of all, it's lovely to be. I've never worked in Turkey before, so it's my first time coming to, and obviously with the you know, the speakers that we've managed to get together here. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous.
So who are you looking forward to seeing?
I always look forward to seeing Nick Peachy, because Nick is an inspiration for a lot of my work.
Right.
And Scott Thornbury used to be my tutor here when I did my Delta course.
Where did you do the Delta?
I did the Delta at IH Barcelona, and he was my tutor.
Oh, great.
So looking forward to seeing him. And in fact, Rod was my boss for a very short time as well. Right. So I'll be looking forward to that talk.
And that was in...
that was when I worked in Devon Tech. That was many years ago, back in the 1980s.
Yeah, well, it's fabulous to see you here, Russell, and thanks for the interview, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you very much.